Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another one, and the thing's gone on repeat for me. We'll get rid of that. Welcome to another iteration, finally, of our Hotlap series here at Simsational TV, and we're here for AK Racing's V8 Supercar series. And I'll tell you what, these guys are heading massively quick hot laps around the Sepang circuit, which is where we are racing this week and coming on Sunday. If you have not joined a stream of ours before, get on board live from 6:30 p.m. And it's going to be an absolute stellar race. We've got 3 races coming your way. I've got a sprint at the start, and we've got a long one in the middle, and then a 14-lapper to finish. And around this circuit, it's not very, very quick. It is 2 minutes and 2 odd seconds on a set of supers. About 3 seconds difference between the super softs to the soft tyres. So look, it's a big difference in the grand scheme of things. Usually only around maybe 1.2 seconds between the lot of them. So it's going to be interesting on the strategy department. But you're not going to be worrying too much about strategy if you are not all the way up there at the start and getting onto the front row of the grid, which is exactly what we need to do here. So without further ado, let's get in to a good old-fashioned hot lap around Sepang. Now, we'll start it off here, and we'll do a on-board, and we'll run through the lap step by step, and we're coming here onto the front straight. So we'll start the lap here. Let's get cracking. Into 6th gear. By the way, just before I go, I am running the 3.54 gearing around here. Some people are going for a longer gear ratio or a shorter gear ratio. I'm going for the one with the top speed of 272k an hour. So that's one tip for you young players out there wanting to know what I am using. But here we go. Coming down the front straightaway. And our first braking marker is at the 150 board. I'm on the anchors, and I'll bring this up here so you can see what I'm doing throttle-wise. Actually, we'll bring it into the middle. Throttle, brake, tracing, everything you want, it's here. And we are braking at the 150 board. There are many ways you can take this corner, but I take it as such, dipping into the right-hand side of the track, hugging the apex all the way around. And then basically, as you get around here in 2nd gear, right as that ripple strip gets out of the way, you dart mid-track and get the car pointed down into this left-hand kink which leads onto a wrong sweeping right-hander coming our way very shortly. And you'll see what I do here. I get it turned in, and just right at the point of knot, there is a little bollard there, and you nearly want to hit that, but not go over the inside of the double curbage there, because it will kick you out and it will upset the car. So we get around this corner, stick it right to the inside right-hand side of the track, get it pointed and turned, and make sure you hug that inside line as quick as you can, shifting up through the gears, using all of the circuit here at Sepang. Brake at the 150 metre board again from a good 240 odd k's an hour, and this is where a very crucial part of the track is. You can lose 3/10 or you can gain 3/10 just in this corner alone. And how I navigated here, I shift down into second gear, and you can see I've just started to turn it in, and I'm still visible into that right hand side curbage, and you can just see it poking out there through the A pillar of the car. And you just ride it a little bit, you just get it here just over the inside of the red and white stripy painted lines, but then you want to make sure you don't go too far over it, because again there is a bump on the exit of that curb, which will again spit the rear end out, and then you won't be having a very good time on exit. And I don't let that happen here. Very, very straight exit coming into turn 4. This is a long sweeping turn 4 and 5, and you can see, just as you saw before I paused that, I missed it, I let off the throttle mid-corner, which is what you need to do, else you're just going to run too wide. In your trajectory here, you can see already the car is nearly facing to the ripple strip ending right in the middle of the track. And I just drift it wide, get on the brakes, just dab it to get the weight transfer from the right-hand side of the car to the left as you turn it in. This is very crucial. This corner coming up here is very much a hurry up and wait. You think you're going to make it, but by jingos, it has got a lot of understeer in any car, and the track it doesn't really end up sweeping. It sort of straightens off at the end, which gives you the false perception that there is enough runoff to use. And before that, you know that you'll be off into the kitty litter. And you'll see what I mean right as we speak. So feather that throttle, nearly full throttle here, but now I'm full throttle on the exit. You can see how quickly that outside left-hand side of the track caught up to us. You think you got forever and a day, but if you go too hot into there, you're going to be off into the bunda, not wanting to be out there, I can guarantee you. This is probably a very, very tricky and technical part of the track to get right and smooth. And this is probably where a lot of people are finding their Achilles heel around Sepang. Again, another part of the track where you can gain 3 or 4 tenths of a second. So we'll get into that. Into 5th momentarily, down to 3rd. You can see I just shifted the weight in, nail that apex, let the car point, turn, throttle, point down the exit. Just a bit of dancing on the rear end of that Mercedes-Benz here. Next braking this is a hard section of the track. This is probably my least favourite part of the circuit, even though I love the whole circuit as a whole. But it's very hard to get this right. When you're braking here, you are downhill. And you're downhill, and then it's on camber, so it's actually banked as you brake, which means it's going to lift up the inside front tyre as you're braking. So it's very possible to lock all wheels and get crossed up through here, or just lock the front 2 wheels and go straight on. I see that I don't do that here, but I'm hard on the anchors and just get it turned in and touching that little left-hand kink of the ripple strip there before you actually start to get back on the power. Let the car roll through the corner. On the power, ease it on, little bit of oversteer there. Feather the throttle around here. I'm not full throttle, you can see, because the rear will just step out on you. And you've got to aim shallow, but not too shallow on this corner, because again, it's like that long sweeping right-hander we just saw through the S's. The track really, really sharpens up and doesn't run wide. So you can, again, find yourself running too wide here if you come in too hot or too narrow. And you'll see here, you just get it on that apex right as that little icon on the side there, I call it a bollard, I guess, that is movable, thank goodness, but that's where you want to apex in the corner and come out and lightly on the throttle, maximum throttle at the end of it to get the car settled in. This one is a tricky corner too. Very much a hurry up and wait, but if you try to go with the throttle all the way through this corner, you're actually going to lose time. It sounds silly, but you'll see here what I do. I'm off the throttle already, just touching the brake to get it pointed in and turned, and then I accelerate out of it once I apex. Another very, very, very tricky part of the track. You can have 3 or 4 lines through here, and I take the outside mid sort of cornerish, and this is not the ideal line, mind you. You'd want to be at probably another half a car width wider. I was I lost 3/10 through this corner and I was spewing about it. But nonetheless, I get through it. Again, still not a bad way to get out of it, but not the best way. You don't have to hit that bollard. You can just see it there, and that's what I mean by half a car width further to the left. If I would be probably on the ideal racing line to exit this corner, but I boozy it up, and you can see just not on the throttle enough, and I run onto the outside ripple strip, which halted my momentum, believe it or not. Very self-explanatory sort of run down here into the final turn of Sepang. Braking just as you get to that bit where the old pit lane is, and that's where your brake marker should be. You should be heavy on the brakes here. Again, another corner here where you can take multiple lines. I start to dart it in early. Just sort of suits the setup of my car. It slides and then just grips, and I know straight away that I can make the corner. You can go wide entry and then shallow exit, which is also a great way to maintain momentum onto the front straightaway. But I'm right on the anchors there, still braking halfway around the corner, and then feather that throttle and throttle trace all the way to the end, and that there is a lap of the Sepang circuit. Now, it's an awesome place to drive. I love it immensely. And we can't really get too deep into just driving it because there are a lot of things that you need to know on where to go. And what better way to do that than have a look from the swingman camera. And you'll see here, we'll get back to the start of the lap. And we'll roll through it first. This is probably a better outside perspective for you to study while you are driving. You can see where I brake, and the trajectory of the car is already towards the inside right-hand turn, and you just get it turned in and pointed nicely. You can see through there how I'm stuck on the inside ripple strip, and I'll just get to that apex and let it run wide. Mid-corner, as soon as I make the middle of the corner, see how I'm right and dead set in the center of this right to left kink. That's when I know straight away that that is the time to brake, and I know by maintaining that speed, I will make the corner. We'll see what we can do here as I get into it. Heavy throttle tracing on the exit of this, but just nabbing that inside. See how I was just beyond the second part of that inside curbing there. That's the ideal way to get around it. Use all of the track space you possibly can to maintain momentum, to get the car using its momentum out of the exit, and that will give you a better top speed down here, and you will not get a slipstream opportunity done on you if you maximize that exit and nail the throttle section around that part of the circuit. Heavy braking here. We'll go down to slow motion again at the 150 board, still hanging it right out wide and fat, super fat. And then at the 50 board, start to turn the car in. See, I'm now literally just barely on the brakes, just there, and I'm already on the accelerator pedal. Get it, throttle trace that really, really well. Don't let the car go too far in on the inside. As I said, it upsets the car and you will bounce completely off into the bunda. And you make that corner, and we can see that we've done it beautifully there. Next tricky part of the course, really throttle tracing through here. I'm barely on it. I'm rolling in and out on the brake, get the weight transfer, get the car turned and understeering, just that touch wide there, but didn't hurt me in the grand scheme of things. And everyone's favourite corner here, lock up the front brake a little bit getting in there. As I got the car rotated, it just danced on me, but off the brake, still on the throttle here, and you're sort of throttle steering it through here. It's hard to explain other than feeling it. And just stab that brake to get the rear again to just settle, and then power out. And you can see right there, I'm not using all the inside. I don't need to, because again, that curb is a killer. But then on the exit, I've straightened out already because I know I've made the corner, and I've maximised every millimetre of the track I can use before it slows me down. That's exactly what you want to do, boyos. Again, another heavy braking section into this left-hand kink, downhill, on camber, banked. And you can see here, I start to lock the front brake. It is just creating skid marks right down there. And luckily, I got it turned in. I just got the apex there. On the slide was the car, but I knew I'd made it, so there was no point in braking anymore. Might as well keep turning and accelerating out of the corner. Another tight, tricky section coming up here. Not full throttle through there. It isn't in a Formula 1 car, nor is it in this car. So very tricky to get that car pointed in. Nail this bollard here. You'll see as I just get it, that's as close as I get to the corner. On the inside, that's the apex there, ladies and gentlemen. and accelerate out of the turn. Just a hint of oversteer there, but nothing to upset the car. Remember this one, slower is faster through here. Brake, get the car turned. It's sliding. You can see it sliding right now. And then all of a sudden, we're on the throttle here, pointing it wide, get the car settled, and then into the heavy braking zone. Another half a car width to the left would be ideal on this approach, but I've made it too shallow, and you'll see what I mean here. It just doesn't really sit right. You can see if I was to do an F7 and come out a little bit and sort of point up where you want to see me. Let's go down here. You'll be able to see realistically what I'm talking about in the grand scheme of things. We'll roll it back just a little bit. We'll get the pedals out of the way. So if we come in here in 3 slow motion, you can see that my line is too shallow already. See where the car is pointed. If you were to look at that, it is pointing already too far to the outside of the corner by the time I've apexed, which means I now have to turn the steering wheel for a longer period of time, else I will be off into the gravel trap down the bottom there, as you can see my mouse trying to do that. But you'll see what I'm talking about here as I come through. See, I'm still haven't made the corner. Still haven't made it. And finally, I decided that now it's time to make the corner and get it all sorted. And that, right there, as I hit that ripple strip, that is exactly where I've lost about 3.5 tenths as well. It's actually not a bad little angle that is, but we'll get back to it now and get back in the car to the swingman camera. Next section of the track I want to go back to is a very important one, just so you guys get an idea of it. It is right about, where are we? Here. So again, let's have a look from the onboard shot where the car is. I'm already braking and it's blind. You can't physically see the road because the grass is too tall. But we want to look at this, get the car turned in, really use the inside of this curb because that's really where you want to be. But then see now I've got off the steering angle because I know that if I keep going, I've just got too much understeer. Let off the throttle and the brake and then power out of it because I know now that the rear end and the car is settled and we're going to make the corner. Very, very little steering correction there, just minute nothingness, and I'm full throttle. It's very important to get that corner right. If you can't get that smooth, you are going to get overtaken down into this left-hand kink coming your way. So just make sure you nail that in the grand scheme of things. So let's do a full onboard at full pace to see what we're talking about, and I'll run it through this hot lap coming your way just so you get an idea at full pace. 150 board, brake heavily all the way down to second gear, get the car pointed in, turned early. It's also a great defensive line to take as well. If you can nail it doing a hot lap, you're going to be very, very quick during the race. Into second gear, into left to right kink. Third gear, slap it through the gears. Fourth gear now. Use all the inside of the track. Let the car run wide here, maximising every millimetre you possibly can around Sepang. Another heavy braking zone at the 150 metre board. Turn the car in a little bit early. Get onto that red bit, but not far enough so you hit the inside and then run wide. That is perfect from here on forward. Little bit of throttle tracing through here. Just touch the brakes enough. Get on the throttle again. Right-hander coming up. Weight transfer. Gets the car turned in and understeer just a fraction wide on the power. It'll oversteer just a touch. But then heavy braking zone again. Third gear. Very important to get the weight transferred there and nail both these apexes to make that corner as smooth as possible on exit. That was pretty good by my own standards, but I bet you someone else can do it better. Another heavy braking zone. Left-hand kick. Don't lock the front and rear, all the rears. You'll be sliding and slipping around. Second gear, throttle tracing into third here. About 3/4 throttle around this corner, just onto the full bit. Get it, turn and brake, stick it in third. Keep it on there until the exit of the corner. Slap it into fourth now. Heavy throttle tracing through here. Off the throttle, onto the throttle again. Dip the car in, nice bank turn. And mid-corner all the way around this right-hand uphill and then off-camber section of the track. It's very, very tricky, but you do get it right. If you nail that, you will find yourself 3/10 in a lap. I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to happen. Down the final straightaway here into the left-hand stadium section. Heavy braking at the 150 metre board at the old pit box entrance. Shallow entry hug the inside line. Can do a wider line, but I've chosen the shallow entry, shallow exit. Use all the exit space that you've got around the Sepang circuit. And that is a 202.313 here for myself. And I did that in the practice server, ladies and gentlemen. So the same conditions you guys will be driving on in the race and qualifying as well. Now, if you have any questions about this one, please feel free to direct message me on our Discord in AK Racing. In terms of the setup, I am literally just using a Melbourne setup. If you want to have a look at that, I am happy to send it through to you all. And you can have a look through there and study it, see if it works with your car. But it works in a Mercedes, and I can definitely help you guys at some stage during the week, before now and Sunday, if you do wish. But that's it from me. That's another hot lap here. All done and dusted at Simsational TV. I've been Zach O'Reilly, and I always will be. Hopefully someone can beat me time on the server. And I applaud you if you can. It's a cracking circuit to get the rhythm and flow in. And if once your eye is in, it is rewarding at every single corner. But nonetheless, it is bye for now. Love yous and leave yous.